This is the Bay Area's news station. Kron 4 News starts now with breaking news.
An outpouring of gratitude and overwhelming relief. Yes. As a wine country town returns to life, the wildfire death toll rises. A water tanker skids off of a mountain road, killing the driver. Some neighborhoods still closed off by the slow, methodical search for victims.
Current missing reports, we only have 88 outstanding now, so that number's dropping really fast.
The death toll in the North Bay firestorm climbs to 41. Some 100 people still missing tonight. This as thousands of evacuees are being allowed to go back home. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pam Moore.
And I'm Steve Avison. Some of those evacuees are being warned that police still need to clear their neighborhoods to make certain that everyone's completely safe. So it may take days, even weeks, before they can officially return. At
least 40,000 others are still under evacuation orders. Some are staying at the Finley Evacuation Center in Santa Rosa, and that's where we also find Kron 4's Grant Lotus tonight. Grant.
Hello, Pam, Steve. Good evening once again. I'm joined live by Una Torito, who is one of the volunteers here. This is a Red Cross shelter. It started in the initial hours after the fire last Sunday and Monday as just an emergency evacuation shelter. Now the Red Cross is here and people are in place. And you're from all the way across the country.
Yeah, I'm from New York. I flew in Thursday night to Sacramento, in processed at our headquarters, and they assigned me here for Friday night overnight shift because we were trying to get enough staff, and I'm still here on the overnight shift, and I will probably be here for the duration of my 2-week deployment.
You and your colleagues are working on 3-4 hours sleep. Why do you choose to use your vacation time to go all over the country, be it Houston or here, wherever, to help people?
Because I can and I should. I'm proud to be a Red Crosser. I'm proud of the mission that we work hard to accomplish. People need help. If I'm in a position to be able to do it, then I should. It's great to be able to be here and know that these people are safe.
We mentioned this earlier in the last hour, but they don't need any more used clothing. They have so much of that already. But cleaning supplies for folks who, maybe had a little damage, maybe just have smoke and soot all over their homes.
Absolutely.
They need that. How are people here holding up?
It's a traumatic event. Those that have lost their homes, we have those that were evacuated. They're doing as well as they can. We're providing all the services we can for them here. They're getting hot meals, compliments of the Salvation Army. We have health services here. We have mental health services. We have got great partnership groups that we're working with, even to staff the overnight and the day shift. We have volunteers coming in from the neighborhood that want to help. They know that there are people here to take care of them, and many of them have said to me that they're so grateful to be in a safe place.
Some of them are starting to go home. That is the good news. What do you say to people who know that they've lost their home and their time to go back and just assess could be a long ways away? How do you console them?
Well, we do our best to deal with the here and the now, and that's what we try to get them to focus on. As I said, we do have mental health folks here to help them, talk through it, and there are already in place the local assistance service centers, where all of the local city agencies and municipalities have the programs that are available to people to start to begin taking that first step towards recovery. There's still active fires. We're still in an active disaster. So right now we're still trying to keep them safe and provide them opportunities to be able to contact family members and reconnect with family members.
One CAL FIRE captain told me today, I said, what do you guys need? What do the men and women that are fighting these fires need? He said, we don't need food, we don't need shelter. We need those signs that you see on the highways that say, thank you, firefighters. We need those, and we need hugs. And it seems like you're giving out a lot of hugs, too.
We give a lot of hugs, but we get a lot of hugs from our residents here. It's amazing how far a hug can go when you're in that moment, when you're tired, you're feeling that you just can't deal with it all. A hug and a laugh just gives you that step back to say, okay, I can start again. I can start to move forward.
Una Torito from Queens, New York. out here in Santa Rosa tonight for 2 weeks, helping people she doesn't know get through this tragedy. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your volunteer work, and good luck. I know it's a long road ahead.
It is. It's going to be a long time, and the Red Cross will be here to support all of the residents. You know, we keep getting more people in from all over the country to just keep going. And thank you for your support.
Of course, we're happy to do it. And we'll send it back to you, Pam and Steve, in the studio. But we'll be back. We have J.R. Stone, and we got Gabe Slate, and a whole slew of content throughout the 10.
All right, Grant, thank you, and thanks so much to that volunteer. It is now 1 full week since the devastating North Bay firestorm erupted. Firefighters are making progress.
And here's the latest numbers we can share with you from the fire line. The Nuns Fire in Napa and Sonoma counties has burned more than 51,000 acres, and it is 53% contained.
The Atlas Fire in Napa and Solano counties has burned just over 51,000 acres as well. It is 70% contained. The Tubbs Fire burning in Napa County has burned more than 36,000 acres. It is now 75% contained. And the Pocket Fire burning north of Geyserville in Sonoma County has burned more than 12,000 acres. It is 45% contained. In total, firefighters are battling 16 large fires across the state now, burning more than 217,000 acres.
Tonight, firefighters are out near the Oakmont community in Sonoma County trying to stop a fire that is persistent there. They're hoping it won't spread to homes. Kron 4's Charles Clifford joins us live, as he has all night, from the CAL FIRE base camp in Sonoma County tonight. And Charles, give us a progress report. Each hour you're giving us some new information.
Yeah, you know, that Oakmont fire, which is burning kind of between Santa Rosa and Sonoma, it started over the weekend, and it's burned hundreds of acres, and they're trying to get that under control. I was out on Highway 12 a couple of hours ago. Let's go ahead and take a look at some video. I can show you what's going on out there. The fire right now is burning up in what's called the Mount Hood Regional Park, up on a ridge a couple of miles away from the roadway. But there are just hundreds of firefighters out there running back and forth, trying to get this thing under control. They're also watching out for any hot spots. Embers from that fire might catch a breeze, come down, land somewhere else, start a new fire. They're on the lookout for those. They're also working on building containment lines with bulldozers around the fire. And we actually heard earlier today at the press briefing that the fire jumped their dozer line, burned an additional 30 acres before they could get that fire under control. And this fire and most of the other fires here in the North Bay have been moving slightly to the north at a moderate pace. And they're instead of the big flames we saw a couple of days ago, it's now down to pockets that are burning. So firefighters definitely making progress on this fire and all the other fires. One other final thing I wanted to talk about was there's rain in the forecast, but it's pretty much a situation where they need lots of rain or no rain. If they get just a little bit of rain, like a quarter inch, it doesn't do them any good. And that's because if there's a little bit of rain, it's overcast. The aircraft, those 30 or so aircraft that CAL FIRE has been using to fight this fire, can't go up, can't drop flame retardant. So if there's a little bit of rain, it could actually result in the fire growing and getting out of control again. So they either need no rain so they can fly their aircraft, or lots of rain, which hopefully would bring the fire under control. But it seems that firefighters overall have turned a corner here and are making some progress on getting these blazes under control. For now in the North Bay, Charles Clifford at Kron 4 News.
Charles, thank you for that information. Well, the last week, of course, has not been easy for firefighters. Many of the local firefighters had to evacuate their own homes and then battle the fire in their own communities. The progress being made is thanks to the work of thousands of firefighters locally and from around the state, some even outside the state. And the crews feel good about the progress so far, but they know the threat is not over. Fire crews will continue the tedious and exhausting battle until the fires are out.
We get into this job because we like to serve, and we like to care for our community, and we like to fight fire. And so, yes, they're tired. You know, yes, they miss their families, but yes, they want to be here.
In Kenwood,
CAL FIRE says the fire crews are making a lot more progress now that the winds have died down.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lawrence Carno. That is the big story tonight, the fact that the winds have really not been a factor today. It's just some breezy conditions at times. In fact, over the last couple of hours, we've seen as high pressure has been dominating our weather, starting to give way to some of these calmer conditions outside. Those offshore winds coming to an end. And look at this right now. It is calm in Petaluma, calm in Sonoma. Just a bit of a breeze there at Atlas Peak where the fire continues to burn. But the good news is we're going to see those winds winds staying fairly calm over the next couple of days. And not only that, the sea breeze is going to kick in. So the wind switching direction is going to be a major factor as we head in toward the middle of the week. Right now, it is still very dry in spots, 26% relative humidity in Sonoma. So, yeah, those fires can spread quickly in those conditions, but watch what happens over the next 24 hours. You see that influx of green? That is that sea breeze carrying that cool, moist air right off the Pacific. You're going to see the rise in humidity to 74% as we head in toward Santa Rosa in the afternoon tomorrow. And that will continue to be the case over the next couple of days. We're going to see an increase in the wind, the humidity, the cooler temperatures, and if we're lucky, we'll get some pretty good rain as we head in toward Thursday night and Friday. That's a look at the forecast, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Lawrence. In Santa Rosa, medical personnel have been working around the clock at the Santa Rosa Memorial Hospital, tending to hundreds of fire victims.
Yeah, some of those very hospital workers, they lost their homes as well. But as Kron 4's Dan Kerman shows us, that has not stopped any of them from helping others.
With Kaiser and Sutter hospitals closed due to fire, Santa Rosa Memorial has been pulling triple duty since the fires broke out. Not surprisingly, medical staff were among those who lost their homes in the fire. More than 130 caregivers at this hospital alone.
And around 1 o'clock, we started smelling smoke.
Among those who lost their homes was registered nurse Cambria Reese. She was already on the night shift when she realized the family home was right in the fire's path.
I contacted my family, or attempted to see if they could evacuate.
She couldn't reach her parents for several hours, but continued on the job.
We started having patients who were listening to the news and getting anxious, and their family members were evacuating as well. And so just trying to be there and be calm for them.
Eventually, she heard her parents had evacuated safely. Days later, word the house had been destroyed, something she would share with some of her patients.
One patient who definitely lost his home, and for him, I just told him I could relate. I had another patient who was saying that he felt for so many of the nurses that lost their homes, and I broke down in front of him, actually, and just cried.
But through it all, Reese, like many of her colleagues, continued coming to work to help others.
I know a lot of people felt really helpless in those first couple of days, and knowing that I could still be purposeful and help people even in spite of what I was going through was helpful to me to just focus on work, focus on somebody else's health, and just really concentrate on them.
The president of this hospital says maintaining quality health care is directly tied to housing for healthcare professionals. That's why he says it's a top priority to find solutions both for the short term and the long term to house those who were impacted by this fire. At Santa Rosa Memorial Hospital, Dan Kerman, Kron 4 News.
So many affected, 5,000 homes destroyed, 90,000 people displaced. Before we go to break, we wanted to take a moment to share with you the names and faces of the people who were completely lost.
Here are just 20 of the 41 lives lost.
Welcome back live to Santa Rosa and our continuing coverage of the North Bay firestorm. I'm Grant Lotus. We are live in Santa Rosa. Earlier today, I was in Coffey Park. That neighborhood just decimated, and that one of several areas within city limits that got hit so hard by that fire last Sunday night into Monday morning. Still 88 people are missing. Some people just barely making it out alive. And JR, you met two of those folks today. They had their home and business destroyed, but they were barely able to get out.
They were. Fortunately, they did get out. They are okay tonight, but the description that they used to me, it was hell on earth. They were able to make it out, but within minutes of the fire overtaking their home. Embers falling from the sky in the Fountain Grove district of Santa Rosa. This is motion-activated surveillance video showing the moments before flames overtook R.J. Friedland and Crystal Russell's home last week.
Yeah, it was hell on earth. I mean, the embers were the size of your fist. The wind was going every which way. I don't believe that it was 40-mile-per-hour winds because we were up to the top of the mountain and it felt like 70.
The couple's home sits on their vineyard, the Peaceland Vineyards, a home that was destroyed by fire. This is what their yard looked like before. This is what it looks like now. The ATV they used to escape the fire was destroyed as well. You can see the before and after here. Crystal's chicken coop was destroyed. She left the doors to it open, but it's unclear if her chickens or the bunny made it out. It appears their house went up in flames within 5 minutes of them leaving. Fortunately, the couple, along with their dogs, are safe right now.
I was honking my horn and screaming for everybody to get out, and there's one Airbnb couple that ended up in the burn unit, but so I guess they didn't hear me honking and screaming and the fire alarms didn't go off. Wow. But I think they're okay.
Well, you could just hear a raging fire following you. You know, the heat was coming as soon as we started leaving, but you could definitely hear it, and you could just see the whole east side just red.
Like you'd think it would be the yellow or orange flame, and it's just like you'd see in a fireplace, but it was like the mountain was red, like a stoplight. And it was like really, it was like 10 miles, and then it seemed like a mile or so, and we were frantic.
And back out here live, as I mentioned before, RJ and Crystal are okay, along with their 3 dogs who are a bit out of it because they've been changing locations, but they are okay, Grant, as well. And they did want to talk about the warning system. The Nixle eventually came in, but it came in well after they had put the 911 calls.
The Nixle, the text message alert system?
The text message alert system finally came through, but it was after they put those 911 calls in earlier in the night. And as I said before, when they called dispatch one time, they were told, well, call back when you see flames. And he just laughed and said, if I wait till I see flames, I may be dead. That was what he told me this afternoon. So he just wishes in the future if maybe there was a system that could even a heads up 5 minutes prior or 2 minutes prior.
It's so hard. Wildfires, unlike hurricanes and even tornadoes, you know, you forecast them. We knew the red flag warning was out there, but nobody could foresee this coming.
Exactly, but they did also want to say at the same time, the first responders have done a remarkable job.
Yeah, no doubt. And you'll be in touch with this family. They have a long way to go, and they're going to rebuild, right?
Certainly.
All right, J.R. Stone, thank you very much. We'll be back with Gabe Slate in about 15 minutes. We'll send it back to the studio for now.
All right, Grant, J.R., thanks to you both. The thousands of firefighters battling the fires are working 24-hour shifts under very difficult conditions.
And they come from all corners of the country. Tonight, we're going to take you behind the scenes where they get their assignments, where they try to get a little sleep and some food. Kron 4's Justine Waldman has their story in Santa Rosa at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds, which has turned into kind of a base camp, Justine.
Yes, the Sonoma County Fairgrounds has been transformed. This is the complex. A crew just walked in. This is where they will get a chance to eat, rest, and get a little appreciation. Tent City is where thousands of firefighters now call home. In between their 24-hour shifts, base camp at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds is where they reset.
They are extremely tired and dirty and ready for some rest.
This is where the bathrooms and laundry are located, even a supply tent with everything from fire gear, new hoses, and gadgets. There are dozens of trailers set up to keep communication flowing. Therapy dogs do their best to perk up an exhausted crew.
They're really soft and fluffy and friendly, and they just bring a smile to everybody's face.
Feeding this team is a massive job. Low-level inmates cook up all the food, while it is a brown bag lunch.
These seem to be all the guys' favorites.
To fuel up, firefighters get a hot meal for breakfast and dinner. Tonight, baked chicken and mashed potatoes are on the menu.
Yeah, they do a good job with the food. I love it. I don't go hungry, so that's good.
4,500 firefighters working the Tubbs, Pocket, and Nuns fires will stay here for however long it takes.
We're all part of it. We all do the same, have the same goal, I guess, and that is just getting it done, getting the fire out, getting people back to their homes.
All around the camp are handmade thank you posters, calling the firefighters heroes, and notes written by children, slightly greasy because they came with homemade cookies, will get tucked in fire engine windshields before they roll back out.
And I know for me, it really warms my heart to see that the community really appreciates what we do. We're here to serve them, and it's nice to feel appreciated.
Thank you, appreciate that.
10-year-old Portia Carla came to base camp to hug and give chocolate kisses to those on the front lines. They saved her home from burning down in Santa Rosa, and she is forever grateful.
Because they had helped with the fire and they do a dangerous job.
There was also a massage therapist here today to try and help and soothe those sore muscles of all the firefighters. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, the teams that are heading out will get their briefing before they head back out into the flames, at least after getting some sleep and a good meal to eat. Live tonight in Santa Rosa at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds, I'm Justine Waldman, Kron 4 News.
Thank you, Justine. All right, let's take a live look outside now in San Francisco. And pretty sight, that's for sure. But what's our 4-zone forecast look like?
Our meteorologist Lawrence Carno is tracking the fire conditions facing those firefighters tonight and moving through this week.
Yeah, they're catching a break now, which is the good news. The winds have calmed down quite a bit. It looks like the sea breeze will be kicking in over the next 24 hours. So, yeah, we still got some hazy conditions outside with the smoke as the fires bringing all that smoke across the Bay Area with the offshore winds again today. But you can already see here on the satellite image, high pressure starting to weaken. So we're beginning to see a few high clouds creep across our skies today, a sign of some much cooler weather on the way. It is still remarkably warm into San Francisco at 72 degrees right now, much warmer than Oakland even at 59, 67 in San Jose and 61 degrees in Livermore. I think overnight tonight, just a light breeze. Otherwise, tomorrow, increasing clouds, cooler temperatures on the way. Yeah, even a chance of showers coming our way a little bit later on in the week. Tomorrow, another spare the air day, but air quality should begin to improve. But in the North Bay, of course, all the smoke from the fires just trapped there in the valleys. But I think even that will improve. In the Central Valley, you've got the smoke from our fires working its way in their direction. So they've got some problems with air quality in the central and southern part of the San Joaquin Valley. All right, here's what we're looking at right now. Computer models picking up on some changes, some clouds rolling across the Bay Area. But here's the cold front diving in right out of the Gulf of Alaska as we head in toward Thursday night into Friday morning, bringing some rainfall. Doesn't look like the heaviest storm system. In fact, one of our latest computer models saying maybe about 1/10 of an inch of rain in Santa Rosa, maybe as much as 1/4 inch across some of the higher peaks, but looks like some improving weather ahead. Temperatures are going to be much cooler, maybe 5 to 15 degrees around the Bay Area, guys.
Oh,
thank you so much. All right, we'll be right back. Much more ahead.
Numerous wineries and vineyards were scorched by the flames, while others suffered even heavier damage.
By some accounts, the harvest was nearly complete when those fires hit the North Bay. The wineries along Silverado Trail and Napa Valley probably were the most severely damaged. Signorello Estate was one of at least a dozen wineries affected by the wildfires. The winery's tasting room and offices and kitchen, apartment, they were all burned down. The good news is 45 acres of Cabernet Sauvignon grapes and other varieties were not damaged. The estate winemaker Pierre Brabant is worried, though, about the 2017 vintage.
Yes, some wine in the tank which are still fermenting, but I was not able to check them for a week, so I hope nothing went wrong. But you know, when you have a fermentation, you need to attend the wine day by day and check and make sure we finish fermentation. So I don't know what happened last week. I need to assess.
The power there was still out today. That meant, of course, no electricity to run the pumps and the cooling systems. Fortunately, most of the winery's inventory is stored off-site. Raban says 95% of the harvest was complete before the fire hit.
We have a lot more coming up as this continuous breaking news continues in wine country. We'll be right back.
This segment sponsored by your Northern California Lexus dealer. Test drive a Lexus today. This is the Bay Area's news station, Kron 4 News starts now with breaking news.
The blazes persist, but firefighters are gaining ground on the deadly North Bay wildfires as a break in the windy weather allows them to battle back and gain a bit of an upper hand against the flames. This as thousands of evacuees are now being allowed to return home. However, the death toll in these fires could still rise.
Yeah, that's because people are still missing at this hour. Many people, in fact. In Sonoma, there are still 88 people missing or unaccounted for. Sadly, the Sonoma County Sheriff does say they are expecting to find some of the missing inside burned homes. 14 people are missing in Napa County. 41 people have died in these fires, including the driver of a water tanker who was killed this morning. The number of evacuees has dropped from a high of 100,000 on Saturday to 40,000 tonight. Joining us now is our Grant Lotus. He's with Gabe Slate talking about a school that was lost. Grant.
That's right, Pam. Fire can be an awesome beast, and this fire last week, it didn't have favorites. It was an equal opportunity destroyer. It went after businesses. It threatened hospitals. It destroyed thousands and thousands of homes in Santa Rosa alone, where we are. We're outside the Finley Evacuation Center, and our Gabe Slate was in the Mark West Springs Road area today, where one school is gone. And I know we talked earlier in the night, but now I'm really anxious to hear what these students at that school have to say. Some of the perspectives of kids during this tragedy are really profound.
Yeah, it is. These kids at Redwood Adventist Academy off Mark West Springs Road, a lot of them have been there for over 10 years. They've been there from kindergarten. It's a K through 12th grade school, 130 kids there, and now their school is just gone. They've been waiting to hear about it, and they got the bad news, and because there's literally nothing left, and you'll see the video of what's left of the school, and it's just amazing how fast and furious it came through and destroyed it. Let's go ahead and hear from them. Angie Weems is digging through the rubble where her desk used to be. She's the principal of Redwood Adventist Academy in Santa Rosa off Mark West Springs Road, a K through 12 school that was completely destroyed by the fire. This is her first time being back on the grounds since it burned.
It's like you feel like you're in an apocalypse or something. It's just like takes every word out of your mouth. Shocking. It's like you don't have anything to say. 130 kids. I mean, it's worse than I could have ever imagined. And it's just so awful because 5 families from our school lost their homes, and my son's girlfriend lives in that neighborhood.
This is the neighborhood she is talking about. Hundreds of houses around the school off Mark West Springs Road, gone. All burned down.
The stories we're hearing is just like people had 5 minutes to get out of there. And the fact that, you know, everyone we know made it out is just a miracle, because this is just really horrific and just so devastating. Everything is gone.
The school is going to resume classes at a local church temporarily beginning on Wednesday. They are going to rebuild the school in the same spot. They think it's a good omen that the rock sign that welcomes people to the school off the main road survived. But their name, Redwood, is what's really inspiring them.
And we have a lot of redwoods on this campus. And the cool thing about redwoods is that they're made to endure fire. And so we were just talking about how our school family, we're made for this. Like, we can handle this, and we're going to come back. And when a redwood dies and is burnt, it comes back with more. And it comes back better, because that one tree may have died, but then there's a whole bunch more that sprout out from the bottom. And so, you know, it is going to be a struggle. There's a lot of things people have to deal with through this tragedy. But, you know, we're just going to pull together and make it through.
And I know that there's a need for, I mean, imagine a school burning down. We were just saying, especially when it's K through 12, so many things on the walls, school supplies. These folks need some donations.
They lost everything, yeah. So they've set up a temporary area. A nearby church is going to let them resume some classes, but that's going to be very awkward, so they're trying to rebuild or get a better temporary place. But yeah, they've set up a web page. People can donate anything, paper, pencils, money, any school supplies, and you can see that on our website or through our mobile app.
It's so weird. Normally when you're in school at that age and you randomly have days off in a row, be it for snow or a lot of rain, you're usually happy, but none of these kids are happy because although only, 5 of them lost homes, their families lost, everybody knows somebody who lost a home. So their friends or their cousins, even these kids get that this is just a horrific tragedy.
Yeah, and I was asking them just about, like, So what are people talking about amongst your friends? Do they know? And with social media nowadays, they've all seen it. Even like the second, third graders, they've seen pictures. They got a hold of a couple pictures that someone snapped. It snuck behind the lines, and so they're all talking about it. All the kids, chatting with each other, through their devices, and that's how they're going through it. They're talking about it digitally the way they do now.
So young though to have to
it.
deal with that tragedy. The 7, 8-year-olds, but they're going to work through it and rebuild, right?
They're going to rebuild.
All right.
They're going to, yeah.
Gabe Slate, thank you for that story. Good reporting. And thanks to our J.R. Stone, who's also been out here live all night. We're going to come back one more time, guys, in about 10 minutes or so. But for now, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Grant. It goes from 6 degrees of separation to 2 degrees of separation, at least so it seems. How about this incredible story? It comes to us out of Napa, where one woman went on a mission. She wanted to save her family's home and winery, and with the help of one volunteer firefighter, that home was spared. Kron 4's Spencer Blake Jones is live now with just how they were able to save their home. This is a great story, Spencer.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that this home is still in an area where there are active fires very nearby, but for the time being, what saved it is a special type of fire retardant, and as you mentioned, it was a friendly helping hand from a complete stranger that helped too. Alexis Pattis is safe at her family's jewelry store in San Francisco, but she's constantly checking progression of the Napa wildfires.
So the Partridge fire started coming towards us on this side, and then the other fire started coming from the north from Mount Veeder, and it's actually still coming at us.
That's because her family's home and vineyard on Dry Creek Road is technically right inside one of the evacuation zones, and it's right in between 2 fires. Look what they saw last Sunday night when they first evacuated. They thought their home was gone, but went back Tuesday to find it untouched. Harvested grapes were already safe in a cellar, and Pattis started grabbing other important family items. But Jim Anderson from Sonoma ultimately helped save their home itself.
As the fires got closer and closer, we were going anything we can do to help save the house and save the vineyards, and he came up and basically helped us with the crisis and helped us avert it.
The Pattises had gotten an email about a gel-based fire retardant you can apply on your own home with a hose. Anderson was the volunteer firefighter who got the product for free from a distributor, but then he did more, helping Pattis apply it in key points on the home. He also covered vents, cut down dangerous tree branches, anything to create defensible space.
I had promised my mom, part of the deal, she didn't want me to go up there, but I had promised her that I wouldn't stay the night. And Jim offered, he literally slept in his truck and watched out for the fire, kept an eye out, met our neighbors, and just truly was a guardian angel.
And now, 3 days later, the home and vineyard are still here, even though flames are still burning nearby. Anderson wouldn't accept payment for his service, so the Pattises are going to have him over for a big family dinner to put a face to the home he helped save. Now, I did speak with Anderson on the phone just a couple of hours ago, a very nice man, and the reason he wasn't able to meet with us for an interview today is because he's busy again protecting other homes. He's helping his sisters who live in Sebastopol and Sonoma, so he is just still out there helping people protect their homes. Live in Napa tonight, Spencer Blake, Kron 4 News.
That is great, Spencer. What is it in that stuff, Pam?
Barricade 2, a gel-based fire retardant, which might be
a lot of people want to get that
have.
in their garage going forward. Tonight, some North Bay evacuees are being allowed to return home, and some of those evacuees were in an emergency shelter in American Canyon yesterday when word came that the evacuation order was lifted.
Kron 4's Hazik Madyun caught up with one of those former evacuees outside of her home in Calistoga. He files this report.
Calistoga residents are happy to return home now that the mandatory evacuation order has been lifted.
How does it feel to be back home?
Oh, my Lord, it feels wonderful. It feels so good. When we got the notice yesterday at the evacuation center in American Canyon, everybody just, all the Calistoga folks went, yay! We were clapping, and we were so excited that a lot of people didn't wait to listen to the rest of the news they had to tell us.
Last time I saw you, you weren't so sure what you were going to find when you came back home.
I know.
What are your hopes at this point? Obviously, to be able to return home and...
Yes, that my home will still be there, that my neighborhood will be there, that my town will be there. I know, I didn't know, but my home is standing, and my neighbors are are coming home. My neighborhood is here and my town is still standing.
Karen's only been home for about 24 hours, and she's already made these heart-shaped messages of gratitude for first responders.
We love our first responders.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yes! In Calistoga, Hazik Medyun, Kron 4 News.
In Santa Rosa, boil water notices are still in effect for parts of Fountain Grove and Oakmont areas until further notice. This applies to people who live east of Mendocino Avenue in the Fountain Grove neighborhood, north of Shanate Road, west of Fountain Grove Parkway, and south of Mark West Springs Road. As for Oakmont, the areas affected regarding this boil water order, White Oak Drive, south of Madeline Lane, including Madeline Place, and Oak Mesa Drive, south of Starry Knoll Court. That includes Shooting Star Place. Again, this is a boil water notice, just to be sure that you know you have to boil that water before you use any of it for cooking or drinking.
Day 8 of our breaking news coverage continues. We'll be right back after this.
Well, police from all around the Bay Area have been keeping the areas affected by the firestorm safe, free from looters or people who may have bad intentions.
Since police officers cannot tell who exactly is a homeowner and who is not, they got to check everyone when they cross them. Kron 4 Stanley Roberts goes deeper in the story.
Hi, ma'am. Hi. We can't be in this area.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right, I'm leaving right now.
I was in Santa Rosa with the San Francisco Police Department. I'm with Sergeant Russell, who was on looter patrol. However, the issue she comes across more than looters are the people who make their way into the restricted area for various reasons.
Where are you guys trying to go?
Right there.
Right there.
Our house is right at that fence right there.
You won't give us any more money.
We just want a picture.
How about I go take a picture for you guys? Because we can't let anybody in.
Officers drive all around the closed areas to keep non-essential personnel out. For several reasons. There are still lots of down power lines, and basically it's just not safe. It's interesting to see life going as normal, like here on Wickiup Road, where mail is still being delivered, even in the burned out areas.
I know you probably need to get over here and want to get over here, but we can't let anybody over.
As much as the police would like to permit residents into the restricted areas, their orders are to keep the area clear until it's safe.
I'm gonna have to ask you guys to get out of this area for a little bit. Okay, nobody's supposed to be back here.
This couple wanted to open a safe so she could see if her wedding ring survived the fire. The couple apparently walked through all this debris to get to what was left of their home.
I'm trying to find my wedding band, which is supposed to be in there.
So Sergeant Russell made an executive decision.
We're gonna have people in this area patrol, and we'll make sure no one messes with this safe, okay? But I'm gonna have to escort you guys out, okay?
There were so many people walking around and sifting through debris that the sergeant was wondering if the restrictions had been lifted.
I just want to confirm the area of Pacific Heights, Katie Lee Way, Jean Maria Drive, that whole area. We're getting several residents. Their houses are all gone, but they're all coming in to go through whatever might be left. I just want to confirm that they're not allowed in at this time.
That's correct. We're not allowing anybody into the burned areas at this time.
So the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office dispatched more units to keep everyone out of the restricted areas. Apparently, there was some sort of mix-up with one of the community information systems, which may have given out incomplete information, causing some residents to head to the restricted areas.
There's a confusion at that end. Oh, okay. So I'm here to kind of take everybody back out just because it's not safe right now.
In Santa Rosa, Stanley Roberts, Kron 4 News.
Over the past several days this weekend starting, we got a lot of phone calls and emails from viewers about filing insurance claims.
I know it's so complicated and can be such a task that you just don't want to deal with. Nonetheless, earlier today to help, James Fletcher talked to financial expert Rob Black on what to do if you are in this situation, the do's and the don'ts of filing an insurance claim.
What do people need to know when filing insurance? That's going to be something a lot of folks are going to be dealing with here in the days and weeks to come.
Uncharted territory for most Americans, especially in California. Thousands of homeowner insurance claims are coming in, auto insurance claims. Try to be the first in line, always in insurance situations. So call get your claim number started.
Because there is going to be a crush of claims coming in. Yeah.
Then if you get the time and you're with a family member and you have time, download your policy, take a look at the declarations page, figure out what you're going to be owed, keep records of everyone you talk to. If you're displaced, you can start receiving money immediately for temporary living expenses. You can get up to 4 months upfront payments for money that's going to be owed for you on living expenses tied towards any of the property lost, books burned, things like that. You can get upfront money. Never, ever let an adjuster come to your home and say, okay, I'm going to cut you a check for X amount of dollars. No, 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 no. Keep that claim open because you're going to come up with more damages. You're going to come up with more ideas. So don't take that first check as it comes in. Say, that's a good start, but, we're going to see what else is happening here. Don't start cleaning up until you contact FEMA and contact your insurance agent. The moment you start cleaning up, you can void your claims. So don't do that. Don't go on the property until you have a really good understanding of your insurance, your emergency claims that you're going to be putting together.
Thank you, Rob. There is some information that residents just have to know before returning to their homes. First, if the evacuation order is lifted, only people who live in the area are allowed into the neighborhoods. There will be registration locations where you can get a re-entry pass, but you have to have a positive form of identification. You also will be asked to wear protective clothing and closed-toe shoes before going onto your property. A re-entry kit will be provided for people who want to search those properties and assess damage. Debris bins and support services will be available in each and every neighborhood, and insurance specialists will also be available to help with documentation and the filing of claims.
Tonight's sports report brought to you by Xfinity Internet. We've doubled our speeds. The fastest just got faster.
All right, again, everybody, we begin at Yankee Stadium. We'll go bottom two. Todd Frazier and the Yanks down 2-0 to the Houston Astros, and that set the tone. Frazier, a 3-run blast, and you could have finished the thing off right there. Bottom four, Aaron Judge, who made 2 nice plays in the outfield tonight, also delivers his first home run of the postseason. 1 for 8 in the series until he took it out. 8-1 Yankees. Vallejo CC Sabathia, 6 innings shutout ball. Astros still lead 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow at the big stadium in the Bronx. A 1 o'clock start our time. Dodgers go for a 3-0 lead on the Cubs. 5 o'clock tomorrow at Wrigley. Navarro Bowman moved right across the bay, let go by the 49ers on Friday. He is now a member of the Oakland Raiders. 1 year, $3 million. Bowman had talked about maybe visiting the Dallas Cowboys later this week, but Oakland said, here's the money. You can come in and start right away. More than likely Thursday night against Kansas City. And there you go. Raiders, they've been playing some undrafted free agents, big minutes at linebacker. Now they've got a guy. The question is, how much does he have left? But at least he's got a pretty good resume.
I plan to go to Dallas, and I didn't make it on the plane. Just a lot of things went into it, but the Raiders really showed how much they really wanted me to be here, and I couldn't ask for a better situation.
Yeah, the Raiders, this may be their last gasp come Thursday night at home versus the Chiefs. Derek Carr, playing with a serious back injury, or so we're led to believe, did not throw deep very often. Couple of interceptions, was just mediocre throughout. They did have Patterson rattling off 47 yards here, but they were up by only 2 points late, and the Chargers went down the field, and after Oakland missed an extra point, Novak was allowed to win the game, and that's it. It's funny, after a loss, you got to hear Del Rio over and over. He's the one guy who has to face the music.
We need to stay full of energy and positive and continue to work, at our trade. And those are the things that help you improve as you go through the year. We'll start stacking up wins and start having a lot more fun on these Mondays.
All right, real quick, give me 5 seconds to the 49ers. We don't need to see this whole thing. C.J. Beathard came in for this guy, Kyle Shanahan, and the rookie will start. Let's hear from Shanahan.
I could see the way the game was going. I know he needed a spark, and CJ had put together a couple good weeks of practice. I knew he'd been getting better. I knew he was about ready, and definitely at the time I thought he gave us the best chance to win, and I think that going forward also.
All right, and his first start will be Sunday at home versus Dallas.
All right, Gary. Thank you.
We have lots more coming up. We'll be right back after this.
Winds calming down around the Bay Area outside tonight. Still some smoke in our skies. A little hazy over San Jose right now, but I think the air quality going to improve quite a bit over the next few days. Here's the good news. Check out the winds. Calm almost across the Bay Area. Just a couple of spots with a gentle breeze outside, and I think that's the way it's going to stay overnight. So great news there. We're waking up tomorrow morning, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures generally in the 40s and the 50s. As we head toward the middle of the day, some cooler temperatures. You'll notice along the coastline that sea breeze starts to affect the coastal areas, and temperatures holding in the 60s there even into the afternoon. We'll still see some 70s and 80s inland, but looks like all these temperatures are coming down quite a bit. Forecast model showing you some clouds beginning to move into our skies as we head in toward tomorrow. A few early on tomorrow morning, but a lot more as we head in toward the afternoon. And then, well, maybe we could see some rain as we head in toward the latter part of the week, but that fog going to hug the coastlines. That sea breeze kicks in. Humidity on the rise as well. All right, around the Bay Area for highs tomorrow, we're looking at numbers like this. 67 in San Francisco, 69 in Daly City, 67 degrees. Much cooler. Temperatures running 5 to 15 degrees cooler out along the coastline as we're going to see that sea breeze kicking in. Temperatures in the 70s inside the bay, and then the South Bay. You're still looking at some 80s there in some spots, and well, plenty of 80s in the interior valleys. But to get the idea, temperatures beginning to cool down outside as high pressure weakens somewhat. So that sea breeze really going to be kicking in the next couple of days. Today, probably the warmest day of the week. After this, we're going to watch these temperatures dropping off quite a bit. In fact, numbers are really going to tumble, maybe down into the 60s for highs as we head in toward Wednesday and Thursday. And speaking of Thursday, how about that? Chance of showers. Looks like light showers Thursday night into Friday. Over this weekend, though, return of warmer weather, maybe more dangerous fire conditions with offshore winds.
So let's hope we get more rain.
Want
not
to see a
just
lot
showers.
of rain out of this next system. Yeah, that would be great.
All right, Lawrence, thank you.
We're going to continue to track this story. So important it has been for 8 days, and we'll be on it tomorrow. Thank you for being with us here. We start things off tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. sharp with our morning edition of Kron 4 News. And as always, if you want to stay in the know, take us with you on the go. Kron4.com, the best app in the business.
Good night, everybody.